You can't control when OSHA shows up, but you can control how you respond. You can either be panicked and react and not have a plan, or you can be prepared before they ever show up. In this episode, I want to talk to you about one of the most important things you can do this year. One of the most important things you can do as a safety manager. I want you to prepare your team for an unexpected OSHA visit. Let's jump in. Well, hey friend, my name is David Sawyer. I'm a safety coach. I help busy safety managers prevent accidents and avoid unexpected OSHA audits. But I also help them go from feeling overwhelmed to OSHA-ready. And my goal is to make sure people know how to protect their people. That's the number one rule. We want to make sure everybody is safe. We want everybody to go home the same way they came in. And as a byproduct of doing that, we're going to make sure we're in OSHA compliance. We're going to make sure the company is going down the straight and narrow and that everything is going smooth. Now, if you haven't already done so, go to my website, helpwithosha.com, and access a free OSHA audit checklist. This is the place to start. When I have people say, David, where do I start? I'm brand new in safety. Start here. It will give you a framework to understand what you have to have in place and what you should focus your time and energy on. You see, we don't all have 1,000,000 hours in the day. We have a finite amount of time. And no matter how much work you take home with you, there's going to be a finite amount of time for you to actually accomplish what you're trying to get done. So focus on the right things. Spend your time and energy where it's going to matter most. And this OSHA audit checklist does a great job of explaining how to get a team to be prepared, not just you. Now, in this episode, I want to talk about how you can be prepared for an OSHA audit. You see, you can invite OSHA in. They can come in and they can do a walkthrough inspection of your facility. But so often I get brought in when a company has had an unexpected visit from OSHA. And there's a handful of reasons why OSHA shows up to do an audit unexpected. The two main reasons that they show up is because of a disgruntled employee complaint or because there's been a serious accident. And here's what I want to get across. I want to make sure you understand this because as a safety manager, I didn't always understand this. I used to think, well, maybe it's just random. Maybe they just show up. That's not what happens. They show up because somebody called them in. They show up because somebody got seriously hurt on the job and they got to come figure out why they got hurt. So it's important for you to understand if you can get your arms around these two big issues, employee complaining and employees getting injured, you're going to prevent an unexpected OSHA audit. But there's no reason why you can't be better prepared. Let me tell you a really quick story, and this is something that I will never forget. It was burned in my brain. I had visited a company. They knew they needed help with safety. They knew that they needed some training and some inspections and some written programs. And so I went in and visited them. This was probably more than 10 years ago, probably about 12 years ago. And I walked in, and the person I met with was the human resource manager. And I said, well, who's your safety manager? And she said, you're looking at her, right? I'm the safety manager also. I'm over safety. I've got a few people working for me, but they're not really full time. They're just kind of helping out. And she was interested in help, needed help, but just didn't really have that sense of urgency that like I need it now. Fast forward about 3 weeks later, she called me in a panic. And I remember because I was taking, it was my son I was taking, or it might have been my daughter. I was taking to soccer practice, and it was after 5 o'clock, and my phone buzzed, and I looked down at it, and I didn't recognize the number, but I thought maybe it was that area code. Anyway, I picked up, And she was in a panic because she had just had 2 OSHA audits on the same day at 2 different facilities. And she was at an 11. You know what I mean? Like she was really stressed out, frustrated, upset, didn't know where to start. I said, "Listen, calm down." Her name was Brenda. I said, "Calm down," and I sometimes that's the worst thing you can say. And I don't know if I said those exact words, but I remember just doing everything I could to reassure. Look, we'll get this under control. It's okay. It's okay. And I visited her with the next day, and she hired me right away. She's like, "We need help. We need help now." That sense of urgency had been cranked up, and she was like, "Yes, I need David. I need David to help me out." And so I came in, and I realized something. They were not prepared for an OSHA visit. They didn't have paperwork. They didn't have employees. They didn't have, and I mean employees to help. They didn't have a team. And it was all resting on Brenda's shoulders. She was an extremely competent woman, was good at her job, but she was a human resource manager. And she was trying to balance safety and trying to understand what she had to do. And my number one thing that I was trying to do that first week was just to slow it down so we can focus on what actually matters. Because when you're in that sense of anxiety where everything is urgent, everything has to be done right now, you tend to focus on things that really don't matter. Like you cannot prioritize when your anxiety is through the roof. So over the next few weeks, we were able to bring the sense of anxiety down, and we were able to make a plan, and a long-term plan, not just a Band-Aid, but a long-term plan. And I learned something very valuable from that. See, I knew OSHA. I knew the guidelines. I knew the requirements. I knew the best management practices. That wasn't the problem. The problem was that sense of panic. It was that, listen, let me explain this, because this is what took me a while to understand. She wasn't panicked when I visited her the first time. Everything was just going the way it always gone. Everything was normal, right? The panic set in when that OSHA auditor, both of them, 2 of them, came and knocked on the door. And that's when all of a sudden it was like, oh, wow, we are not prepared for this. Now, since that time, I have put together a workshop that I do with my clients, and I do it in seminars, and I get up and I do a workshop, and it's a full day workshop that I do with safety managers. I've trimmed it down sometimes where companies are like, "Hey, come in here. We want to do a half-day workshop. Help us get our team prepared in the event of an OSHA audit." And I've done that. And here's the problem. Here's what I discovered. I would go in and I'd do that workshop, and I would cover, you have to do this, you got to have this paperwork, you need to be prepared for this. These are the questions that are most likely going to get asked. These are what they're going to be looking for. They're going to interview your employees. I mean, I would go through a very detailed workshop so they would know what to expect during an unexpected OSHA audit, so they could have a plan, a playbook, something to work off of. But then I would come back 2 months later, nothing was done. Not because I didn't care, but just because it was like drinking from a fire hose. There was so much stuff that they were like, "Oh yeah," it just, it kind of went. It got dumped in one ear and just trickled out the other ear, and the rest of it stayed in their head. And they were like, "Okay, now what are we going to do? I need to work on this, and I need to work on that, and I got to." And then you get pulled in 15 different directions, because let's face it, you're wearing multiple hats. You got lots of things that you have to do, And while that OSHA audit workshop is like the top priority on that Thursday or whatever day you're doing it, come the following Tuesday, you got a list of 15 other things or 20 other things you're working on. So what I've done, this is why I invented my OSHA Audit-ready challenge. All right? So listen up. This is something brand new that I'm rolling out, and I am so excited about it because I think it's going to solve the problem. I really think it's going to solve the problem. My OSHA Audit Challenge is where I've taken my workshop and I have broken it into bite-sized chunks that can be done online. Now, it's live. It's not a video. It's not something you're watching. It's not a course. This is a live training where I am going online for 45 minutes to an hour a day. And we're doing it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It is a 4-day challenge where each day I am chunking out part of my workshop so that people can digest it over the course of a week. That way you're not getting everything dumped on you in one workshop. It's getting broken up throughout the week. And I'm working so that whether we have, 25 people that show up, or whether we have 3 people that show up, or whether we have 1 person that shows up, I'm working it out to where it's going to be a challenge that is flexible enough to work around your schedule. So that if you say, hey, we can't do it at 11 o'clock a.m., I can only do it at 3 p.m. Get with me. We will work it out. We'll figure out the best times that work, and we'll do this challenge. But I wanted to explain the ultimate goal, like the end goal of this challenge, is so that when OSHA comes and knocks on your door and shows up at your facility, it's just another day. It's not, I'm panicked. It's, I'm prepared for this. Like when the fire marshal shows up or anybody else shows up, you say, hey, I'm ready for this. It's just another day at the office, man. I got a game plan. I got a system. I went through David's OSHA Audit-ready challenge, and I know what I got to do. I'm prepared. Heck, you can even run trials throughout the year to make sure that you stay ready. You stay audit ready. You see, it's not about information. It really isn't. It's about implementation. If you don't implement what you're taught during the challenge, it doesn't work, right? You can know it up here, but if you're not actually doing it, it doesn't matter. So the reason we're doing the challenge is because I can chunk it up so that during that 45 minutes, we cover one topic and we make it specific to your facility, your organization, your team, your people. And that way, at the end of the day, now hear me out on this, there's going to be a little bit of homework that you have to do between day 1 and day 2 and between day 2 and day 3. And the purpose of this is to get you ready so that by the end of this, it's not, oh, next week I'll finish it. No, you're done. Like you are OSHA audit ready. You are ready for the audit. Now, make no mistake about it. I'm not saying your company is going to be perfect in the world of safety. What I'm saying is you will be ready because you will have the documentation you need in place. You'll have your team in place. You'll have a plan in place so that every role, every responsibility, every piece of paperwork is completed. Now, again, safety never stops. So we're going to get better and we're going to get better. We're going to get better. But if you don't have this, if you aren't OSHA audit ready, you are going to be like Brenda was, and you're going to be in a panic. Your anxiety is going to be through the roof. You're going to be stressed out. Nobody needs that. Nobody wants that. What you want is to feel like, man, this is just another day. I'm ready for this. So let me explain what's going to be included in the challenge, because These 4 days, they're going to be good. They're going to be full of good stuff. And what I mean by good stuff, it's not fluff, it's not filler. This is real world. I've learned this. This is what you need. So the first thing we're going to cover, at your facility, at your company, why would OSHA most likely show up? Now, there's something called the 80-20 rule. I live by this principle, right? The 80-20 rule means 80% of what happens because of 20% of what's around. Let me explain that. In terms of an OSHA audit, if we say, why would OSHA show up? 80% of the time, they're going to show up at your facility because of 20% of the activities going on. Again, let me unpack that a little bit. Let's say that you've got a facility where there's a lot of machines and there's a lot of machine guarding hazards and lockout tagout hazards. If someone's going to get seriously injured, it's going to most likely be because of a lockout tagout failure or machine guarding failure. So we can say that's the most likely reason OSHA is going to show up, is a serious injury. The other thing is, why would employees become disgruntled? What employees are most likely to be upset, and how do we make sure that they are heard? So day one is all about you. This is why this is so unique, because I'm not going to be giving you generic like, oh, well, this is what I saw back in 1999. No, that's not what it is. This is going to be about your facility. It's going to be about your hazards, your people. Why is OSHA most likely to show up? And it's going to erase that misconception that they just randomly come in the door. They don't come in random. They come in for a purpose. We want to know why would they come in so we can eliminate that. Day two. This is where some of that homework comes in. Day two, we are going to get you a safety binder that is OSHA Audit ready. We're going to talk about all the documents that you got to have ready to go. We're going to talk about what OSHA asks for when they walk in the door. We're going to be specific to your company. We're going to know exactly where that binder is kept, who's responsible, how it's going to be kept up. This covers all the documentation, all the paperwork, all the things that OSHA is looking for. Plus, we're going to talk about how to make sure it's digitized so you can send it to somebody. Now, the third day, this is where we say, hey, man, this can't all be on you. The third day is about your team. So your team, who is going to be in the room during the opening conference? Who is going to be in the room during the closing conference? Who is going to be helping you make corrective actions and getting things fixed? So we're going to talk about your team. Now, whether you have 20 employees at your company or 1,200, every company is a little bit different. Some teams are a little bit bigger. Some teams are a little bit smaller. But the roles and responsibilities are the same. We are going to identify, and we're going to put names beside it. Not just like, oh, somebody in maintenance will take care of this. No, we are going to put actual names beside it so we know this is my team. These are the people that I'm relying on, and they're relying on me, and we're going to be ready to go. And this is how we're going to make sure we keep it going. And that leads me to day four. Day four, we're going to talk about how you stay ready. And how you completely avoid the mistake that I see where I go in and I do a workshop for a company, and then I come back a few months later and they haven't done anything. We're going to talk about how you stay OSHA audit ready. Now, at the end of this challenge, on Thursday afternoon when we are done, you will have an actual, yes, I am OSHA audit ready. Now, again, safety doesn't stop. Doesn't mean we're not going to have training. We're not going to have programs. We're not going to have inspections. We're not going to have all this stuff. All that stuff keeps going. This is just getting you ready as a leader, as a safety manager, as somebody in charge of your team. I want to know who my team is. I want to know the framework for an audit. I want to know the paperwork that goes into it. I want to know what are the best ways to get people prepared and stay prepared. Now, I'm super excited about this. As I'm recording this video, I am preparing to launch this at the end of the month. So as you're watching this, there will be a log, there will be a web page, excuse me, on my website. If you go to helpwithosha.com/challenge, you'll be able to sign up for the OSHA Audit Challenge. As I'm recording this, and this is subject to change, the price for this, and I wanted to make it very affordable. I wanted to make it to where any safety manager could join. It's going to be $200. And for $200, actually $197, that's, the way it looks a little bit better on the website. $197, you get the 4-day, the full challenge, and it is customized to fit your company. This is the best money you could spend to get your company OSHA audit ready and hold you accountable. 4 days online, flexible around your schedule. This is going to be an outstanding thing. I'm so excited about it. I really, really think this is going to work. I think it's going to help so many safety managers. I wish this thing was around when I was a safety manager, because I would have signed up for it and I would have got my team ready to go. So I'm excited for this. I hope you're excited for it. Please don't forget, go to my website, helpwithosha.com/challenge. If you haven't signed up for my OSHA audit checklist, you can get the checklist. These things are going to pair. Man, they're going to be like peanut butter and jelly. They're going together. We got the audit checklist. We got the audit challenge. This is going to be a great way for you to grow your company and to get your culture to buy in to this entire system. Because remember, our goal is to make it so it's just another day. Right? Just another day, man. I'm ready to go. But our goal is also to prevent accidents, to avoid an unexpected OSHA audit, because we don't want anybody getting hurt. We don't want anybody getting hurt. Now, having said all that, I want to finish with this last thing, kind of a little point of business here. I know a lot of people watch these videos and listen to the podcast and aren't subscribed. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. It makes a huge difference. I'm feeling a little bit of a groundswell, and I'm excited because I want to help more people. And I'm going to tell you right now, one of the best things you can do, help me out personally, please share this with a safety manager that needs to know it. Share this with somebody in your company. Let people know about this, because I think the OSHA Audit Ready Challenge is going to make a huge difference in the lives and so many companies. It will take that anxiety level from an 11 and bring it down to about a 2 or a 3. I can't say it's going to be a 1, but we'll try to make it a 2 or a 3. All right. Until we talk again, do everything you can to keep the people you work with safe, because no one should get hurt at work.